To understand a building, you have to look at its entryways. A door is an active architectural element. It dictates the security of a space, controls the privacy of the people inside, and regulates the flow of air and light. In this build, we are going to walk through the exact sequence of constructing a classic wooden panel door from scratch and securing it properly into its frame. Before any cutting begins, the material has to be right. You must start with completely dry, structurally strong wood. If the lumber holds too much moisture, the finished door will warp and fail to close. This brings us to a useful mental roadmap outlined in this guide, the FTCIH sequence. That stands for functions, types, construction, installation, and hardware. Today, we are putting our focus directly on the final 3 steps: construction, installation, and hardware. Following these specific steps ensures the raw timber on your bench actually becomes a reliable, working entryway. Let's move to the workbench. You have your selected, dried lumber ready to go. The structure of a paneled door starts with its outer frame. The long, vertical pieces forming the left and right sides are called the stiles. Connecting these at the top, bottom, and middle are the horizontal pieces, known as rails. Every measurement for these stiles and rails must be exact. If initial marks are off, the final frame won't be square, and the door won't fit. Looking at the construction procedures listed here, steps 1 and 2 are your primary actions. You will cut your vertical stiles to length first, followed immediately by cutting the horizontal rails. These initial cuts establish your physical baseline. Without straight, accurate edges on both the stiles and rails, the entire assembled door will eventually sag out of place. Once the pieces are cut to size, step 3 is cutting the interlocking joints into the ends of the rails and the inner edges of the stiles. With the joints prepared, you slide the solid wooden panels into the grooves of the frame. These flat panels give the door its solid barrier. Now comes the permanent step. You apply structural wood glue to all the joints, fit the panels securely, and firmly press the stiles and rails together. Immediately after assembly, you must clamp the entire frame tightly. It needs to remain undisturbed so the glue can dry and lock the square structure. This chart lists common mistakes. Notice the warning against weak joints. Rushing the clamping directly causes these fragile connections. As the text below shows, if those joints give way, the door loses its shape, causing it to catch and fail to close properly. Letting the clamps and glue fully dry ensures the store will hold its weight for decades. Now we bring the finished door to the entryway. The very first installation guideline is verifying the wall frame itself is perfectly straight and plumb. To hang and operate the door, we need metal components. The industry term for these metal parts is ironmongery. Moving down the list, we start with hinges. These are the mechanical plates that bear the weight and allow the door to swing. Your first procedure is to permanently fix one side of each hinge into the edge of the vertical stile on the door. Next, you position the heavy door carefully inside the straight wall frame, check your clearances, and fix the other half of the hinges into the frame. You have to be precise here. Referring back to our mistakes checklist, combining poor alignment with loose hinges will throw the whole system off balance, causing the wood to aggressively bind against the floor. Check the opening action immediately. If it sticks, adjust the hinges before drilling for the hardware. Once the swing is smooth, you install the knobs to open the door and the locks to keep it secure. These components grant the user absolute control over the entryway. Proper mounting combined with tightly secured ironmongery turns a static panel of wood into a working, dynamic entrance. This is the result of proper execution. A correctly built and installed panel door will swing without resistance and click firmly into its latch. You assess the final build against 3 strict standards. The door must open smoothly, there can be absolutely no rubbing or major gaps, and it must sit with a proper tight fit in the frame. Meeting those standards means you have applied the roadmap shown in this summary, understanding what the door does, selecting the type, constructing the pieces, and handling installation and hardware. Ultimately, this knowledge creates an architectural barrier that is safe, functional, and visually appealing. With the structural work complete and verified, the door is perfectly prepped and ready for the final stages of finishing and painting.